Schuylkill Free.
Useful and beautiful.
Yeah. So, like we said, the waterworks, this was America's first utility. Really, I think one of the first utilities of the world, where they took something that was free and accessible to all and made it into a system you got to pay for. And the way they did it, they built a dam here. That's the dam that flooded East Falls, right? And they would funnel the water from the river up on top of Fairmount, right? Or on top of the Art Museum. And then they built underground plumbing under the Ben Franklin Parkway, straight from here to City Hall. And then they had a public fountain in the center of City Hall. So like if you live in Philadelphia today, you could pay your gas, your electric, your phone, all the like other random utilities. They got places in your neighborhood you could pay.
Okay.
Right? But if you gotta pay your water bill, you gotta go to City Hall. You go down in the basement of City Hall. And that's tied in to this legacy of America's first utility and the first public fountain tied in with this Philadelphia waterworks, you know. And also too, like let's say you're in a place and you need to get a utility, you need to get your gas or your electric. It don't matter if you're a renter or whatever, you can just contact them. Your name doesn't have to be on the deed to sign up for your gas, electric, phone, all of that. To get your water, your name got to be on the deed. So it's the waterworks is a subtle form of municipal control and domination within the city. And this is all Herculean too. One of the feats of Hercules, he had to clean up the stables, and instead of just, he had to do it in a day. And so instead of like just getting to work with a shovel, he rerouted a river to clean out the stable. And so waterworks is it's a tribute to Hercules. It's considered a Herculean effort.
Kind of like the Spirit of Enterprise.
Like the Spirit of Enterprise.
That was a Herculean character.
Exactly. So, you know, what you'll find is Hercules is the god of Philadelphia. Ben Franklin is the embodiment of him as a man. You know how Hercules was demigod, man and God. So Ben Franklin does a lot of Herculean efforts, or is remembered Herculean. Rocky,
He took down Apollo.
All right. And yeah, the Rocky statue's on the other side. But I'm pointing all that out. Schuylkill chained and Schuylkill free. This you'll see this theme of capturing the river, conquering the river, as a part of conquering Lenapehoking and the people, particularly the Queen Mother.
Okay.
You know?
Wow.
And we see it played out in the history of East Falls, where, like, I don't have the documents right in front of me, but I shared with you, East Falls, right there by that bridge, and that area right there, that was the last area abandoned by the Lenape. In Lenape, you know, this region,
right.
Shaksamoxon,
right.
Like, they gave up all the other lands except that one last, because that was their place. That's where the queens meet. It was a place of abundance, a of great importance.
Yeah.
And how did they conquer it? How did they just make it like a place like you wouldn't even know that, right? They built the dam right here for the Philadelphia Waterworks, which flooded the Schuylkill above the falls. So you didn't even know it's a falls there.
Yeah.
All right. Yes,
They
sir.
erased it.
They erased it.
It was erased from memory.
我那里头已经签了以后，签了以后就那你丢着咋带我过来的呢？
So this is the Schuylkill chain, right? I would think the most ancient and appropriate correspondence would be the Kemetic or Egyptian god Happy. Remember I told you, like, research Happy.
Okay.
Happy is the ancient river god that makes us happy.
Mm-hmm.
It provides like food, clothing, shelter through being able to harness the water to cultivate cotton, use the woods that grow around water for our shelter, right? And of course, food. So happy, the one who makes us happy is chained, right? You can see there's a chain wrapping around his arms, right? And he's being overseen by the eagle. Now, remember, Philadelphia is a museum without walls, and placement and common symbolism is important. This statue stands in contrast to Prometheus straining on the vulture. So Prometheus is freeing himself from the blackbird, and here Happy is being overseen by the eagle, which also relates this to the spirit of enterprise, because the eagle is being ejaculated out of that giant. So if the spirit of enterprise is Baal, Baal and Prometheus, they're the two giants that run the earth right now. You know? If you read the museum without walls for what it is.
Right.
And so this is a very important statue. And again, the whole idea of this, when they made the dam for the waterworks here, ultimately what it did was it destroyed the most abundant fishing spot in Lenape-Hoka. So literally the river was enchained, enslaved, you know? It's no longer free, and it's not a free resource. And again, this is America's first utility. First place they took a natural resource that was free and accessible to everyone and made it into a system that you got to pay for. So, the obvious polarity to Schuylkill chain. This is, in their mind, the Schuylkill Unchained. This is the new queen. Remember when we were in East Falls, we didn't see New Queen Street, but there's 3 streets with Queen in it. Indian Queen Lane, Queen Lane, and New Queen Street. This is the new queen. This is Columbia. This is the feminine spirit of enterprise, where she has, formed the river into a system where you see they got the wheel drawing the water into a fountain that is overflowing with water, right? So this is how they visualize unchaining. The water.
Ironically, unchaining by harnessing.
By harnessing, exactly. So this is, and also too, like another theme you see in Philadelphia is the new queen. This is the new queen. Okay.
Is she like Greco-Roman? Is that how her?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think who she would be. When we go to the statue that memorializes the assassination of the Indian queen. On the other side of that statue is the new queen, Columbia.
Oh my.
We could get into talking about who she is more
Wow.
over there.
Okay.
And that's in Eakins Oval. That's on the other side. And here we can see how this was. Now what you gotta know too is everything east of here is like the Delaware Valley and South Jersey coastal plains. This is the first elevation you come across from Atlantic City at the ocean.
It's flat all the way
It's flat all the way until you get here. This is the first elevation you come to. This is the land, these rocks you're looking at here. This is Fairmount now, right? Or Firemount. They got that name from the Swedish, who were the first colonists of this area. And the Swedish called this place Firemount or Fairmount because they would have bonfires up here on the solstices. Okay? But prior to them, this was a sacred Lenape earth mound. The Lenape felt that the earth element was what was sacred here.
Take this.
And they said, whatever happened here, happened with the full participation of the earth. Okay? So when it was, when the Lenape were custodians of this land, they said this was an earth element ruled mound. And that whatever you did here happened with the full participation of the earth.
Right here.
Right here.
On this fire mound.
On this
Or what was called the fire mound by the Swedes.
The Swedes came
Right.
and committed the mound to the element fire.
Right.
When the British and colonists came and made it the Philadelphia Water Works, water became the ruling element of it.
Right.
Wow.
And then when they built the Philadelphia Museum of Art with the 9 muses, the 9 muses are associated with the air. Okay? So, if you read like the Rosicrucian journals of this area, I forgot the name of them off the top of my head, but they celebrate that. They say that it's great that this land has been represented by each element. First earth, then fire, then water, now air. Right? They really, Philadelphia Museum of Art is a big thing in the city. Like if you want to be, like I'm rubbing shoulders with
the mayor?
The big ones.
The big ones?
Bigger than the mayor.
Bigger than the mayor.
Yeah. The ones that the mayor does their bidding.
Right. The ones who get the mayor elected.
Exactly. You're going to be up in here, right? And they celebrate that thing. But I think it's important to tap into the Lenape. What happens here happens with the full participation of the earth.
Yeah.
And they exploit that. Okay? Any big industry in the U.S., or really I'll even say globally, because I'll give you 3 examples. They're going through some problems, their thing is about to crumble, they'll come here and have a big event. Okay? Music industry is one of the biggest. When the internet came out, threatening their hold over distribution, and you had artists like Prince and Michael Jackson coming out saying like, you don't need them, right? What they start doing? Having the Made in America concerts here. Okay, right here at the Art Museum.
Okay.
Okay. Vatican jumps out. The other Pope resigns.
Mm-hmm.
New Francis comes in. What's the first thing he does? Comes here and has the largest outdoor mass in U.S. history. Okay? And the last would be the NFL. NFL was having major scandals with the concussion scandal, the Kaepernick take a knee, viewership was going down. Parents were talking about we're not going to put our high school students through the NFL pipeline anymore, right? What'd they do? They came here, had the NFL draft on the steps of the Art Museum in 2017. Who won the Super Bowl that year?
Eagles.
The Eagles.
Wow.
And where did the Super Bowl victory
Ben Franklin
parade
Parkway.
end up? Right here.
Wow.
Right? NFL, they flying great now. You know? So that's just 3 recent examples we could think of like, if what the Lenape say are true, what happens here happens with the full participation of the earth. These are how these institutions today tap that. You know? NFL, Vatican, music industry. 3 great recent examples we could all research. You know? So that's what I think of with this land. I tell you, man, we gotta line it up when you come down here on a full moon night.
Okay.
And we come down here. Oh man. You gotta make that happen.
All right. In the summer?
Yeah.
Sun's going on.
That's the time. This is Prometheus Strangling the Vulture. This is also made by Jock Lipschitz, same guy who made Spirit of Enterprise, who we just left. The black vulture is the heraldry of Thebes. Clash of the Titans occurred in ancient Kemet. It was basically the Memphites versus the Thebans. Okay? The Thebans were the naturalists. The Thebans were the ones aligned with the primordial nectar, or the primordial god Osar or Osiris. The Olympians entrapped in the pediment. That's what that triangle is called, a pediment. It makes us an impediment to have direct and personal relationship with them. You see, compared to the size of the Spirit of Enterprise or the size of Prometheus, they're minimal. These are the giants. We don't have contact with them. We can go and touch them. They can touch us. They're here on Earth, right? They're the ones ruling this realm right now, the Nephilim, the fallen angels, right? And like I say, this black vulture was the earthly heraldry of the Olympians, or the Thebans, the earthly Thebans, who, like, all of their temples were for who we would call in Greek the Olympians, but in Kemet, you know, they were the gods of Thebes, the gods of Luxor, the gods of Ipet Isut, right? So this is also in contrast to Chaining the Schuylkill. Where remember, that was like a Happy was an earthly Olympian. He's chained, and they got an eagle standing over him, right? And the Spirit of Enterprise, right, ejaculated an eagle, right? And here's another Nephilim, fallen angel, strangling the vulture, the
representation of the Thebes.
Of the Thebans, yes.
Thebans,
Yes.
the naturalist gods.
The naturalist gods. The uh, Memphites. In Kemet, that would be like Ptah and Men. They're the boys of technology. You
Mm.
know, they're the technologically driven ones. Prometheus is who gave fire, electric fire to humanity. When
Mm.
we go to Eakins Oval, you're gonna see how that plays out with Ben Franklin. All right.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah. So as we could see from that footage, like we say, what is what they're telling us with the art, architecture, archetype symbols in and around the art museum is that the Clash of the Titans is continuing. And Philly, I see Philadelphia as a knot of time because so many, I guess, mysteries that you would say got us on the timeline we're on, they're held here in Philly. And no other city has, where you say, brought forth the future of really the whole planet with the invention of electricity, the computer, and actual manipulation of time with the Philadelphia experiment, all these things. So the past, present, and future is a tightly wound knot here in Philadelphia. And I would say the epicenter of those knots is the Philadelphia Museum of Art and the Ben Franklin Parkway, you know?
Mm-hmm. So we then went from the art museum to what's the statue we went to
The
in the
thinker.
no before the thinker, the one.
Oh, Eakins Oval, the George
Yes.
Washington equestrian statue. Woo!
Like that whole thing, like what's Eakins?
Eakin, yeah. Eakin, I
Yeah,
think,
Eakins
was
Oval, like
he may have been one of the first uh like directors of the Museum of Art. I think that's how he got the name. Like they named the circle for him.
okay. What I thought was and that whole that statue in itself like probably could get like I mean you've discussed it many times, we could continue because it's so rich in detail and so forth. But the what you what you mentioned to me and Chris while we're there, which really jumped in my mind, was how once you began talking about it and exposing it for what it is, that lined up with then the skaters being able to like it was like where all the skaters hung out and and did their moves, and you could see the wear and tear on the actual artifice when you
It's
could see the
it's it's
cracks and the
being
chips.
yeah,
It
it's
was being
breaking down,
deconstructed. It was breaking down.
being
And so
deconstructed. And you even have to know the backstory a little deeper. There's a park near Center City called Love Park. You probably have heard of it. It's got the Amour or Love uh,
okay, yeah. That
artwork
iconic
there.
word, yeah.
Yeah, Love Park. So now the skaters had invaded Love Park and was destroying Love Park. So the city did a couple of things. The first thing they did is, amped up police presence around there and set up a lot of penalties and fines and, made it really problematic for the skaters to be there. Then right to the side of the art museum, right where we were, about a block away from Eakins Oval, they built $1 million skate park, man. So the skaters got this big park 1 block from where we were. That is like, I guess state of the art skating in Philadelphia. But what I observed was, and you have to know, most places in Center City, Philadelphia, the police are very vigilant about random skateboarding because they want to protect the public art, right? Which would make sense. Yo, it seemed like the more we started talking about Eakins Oval and what's going on there, skaters have been there, and they're destroying it. You saw it. There were skaters there when we were filming, and the police aren't doing nothing about it. And that goes into my decode, don't destroy reasonings, where how like now it's a big thing where like they're removing Confederate statues. They want to remove all these statues. Why? Because once people start paying attention, decoding, right? Yeah, they're going to remove that themselves because it's smoking gun evidence of their intentions. And they were more or less banking on people not decoding it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I see the neglect of Eakins Oval in that same light. You know, we're decoding it, we're paying attention, so they're going to neglect it and probably set the stage for a removal of it. You know, so yeah. Let's drop that footage in. Let's.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're
So,
rolling.
This is Eakins Oval, where we probably got one of the most important statues that's not in Philadelphia in the world. A lot of the mysteries we've been covering up until this point is embodied in here, particularly the queens hold the keys. So this is the indigenous queen on her throne. If you study, she's actually chained to her throne. What does that mean? That's, a lot to ponder. But she's holding two important keys. One is the cornucopia. When we talked about the abundance of land at East Falls, how like where the queens meet was some of the most abundant land in the country, Also the trident, which says she was a part of a transatlantic empire. And we covered that in that episode, The Queens Hold the Keys, But she's flanked by two colonists. One is holding up a wreath, saying, hey, be a part of Rome. The other's tipping his hat, like the original cap up. He's tipping his cap like honor, but they got nefarious intentions toward her. How do we know that? Both of them are holding cloaked daggers, cloaked spears, right? So they're attempting to take her out. How they gain this access to her? If you look over here, here's Chief Tammany. Let's come and look at Tammany. So, again, with Philadelphia being a museum without walls, there's another statue of Tammany that is like the polarity of this. He's standing upright with a live eagle on his shoulder, right? But here we see him, he's on his ass. He's sitting on his ass. He's not paying attention, right? The eagle that was once alive is now dead, right? Look, he's sitting on a cloaked fossil.
You can really see it
right?
in the camera.
So what does that mean? There's a natural history. There's an indigenous history that's cloaked, and he's just sitting on it. So a key to deciphering the indigenous history is tied into Chief Tammany, the husband of Queen Winona. But look at him. Look at his medallion. Come get a look at his medallion. He's wearing a William Penn medallion, right? And Tammany is legend to have, quote unquote, signed Penn Treaty, or, work out friendship and cohabitation agreement with William Penn and them boys. There's a lot of mystery with that. We're not going to get into it now, but because he's sitting on his ass, not paying attention, these colonizers to put themselves in a position where they're up on the queen with weapons, you know? So another significant dimension to this statue ties in with Prometheus strangling the vulture we were talking about earlier. You look at this right here, right? You see you got a whole bunch of people looking in one direction. And if you study the symbology of them, they're agriculturalists. They're plantation farmers, agrarian, right? And everybody's moving in this one direction except one person, and that's Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin's looking back at something none of the others is looking at. What is that? Prometheus strangling the vulture. Why is that significant? You study mythology. It was Prometheus that gave electric fire to humanity, right? And as we know, Ben Franklin is accredited with quote-unquote discovering electricity, right? So he's the one technologist up there, right? And it's showing like, yo, all y'all farmers, y'all looking in one direction. I want to connect with Prometheus. Help him get out of hell. That's why Ben Franklin, we were down there at the Rodin Museum by the gates of hell. But they had the gates of hell closed off, right? But Franklin had, in exchange for getting electric fire, he had to let the fellow Prometheus allies, the fallen angels, the Nephilim, he had to open up the gates of hell to let them out. So that's how all those things ties in. And Ben Franklin is the thinker that opens up the gates of hell. You know? We weren't able to get in, but I got still images. We'll follow up this reason. But you see, he's not with the agrarians. He's looking at the fallen angel that gives humanity electric fire technology. You know? And over here is the new queen. And she's the goddess Columbia, right?
Yeah. She has no markings on her dress.
No markings.
Right.
Yes. Beyond no markings. What does she have in her hand? 2 flagpoles. Okay? She's got 2 flagpoles. Excuse me, what I say?
Flagpoles.
You got it. Flagpoles, where, and you see she's flanked by the dead burying the dead. Where you have a dead man with a shovel. You have a dead man with a shovel on this side, and a dying soldier with a gun on the other side. So this is the dead burying the dead.
And she's got a sword in her hands.
Yes, and wherever the dead burying the dead have a war, she plants a flag. She plants a war memorial. So this is Columbia.
And she's not on a throne. She's in a. Those are trees.
Yes.
Like trees around her.
Yes.
Like it kind of feels like a throne because we just saw a throne, but it's not a throne. She's just crouched like she's on a throne.
And so
fake it till you make it.
Flanking Winona, flanking the Indigenous queen, were a native maiden with empty nets, which again ties in with East Falls,
right?
That place of abundance. Them destroying the abundance, right? And then of course, Tamanin not paying attention. The new queen is flanked by like Grecian-looking mariners, you know, people of the sea, right?
He's got a crocodile.
Yeah, this Eakins Oval, this is one of the most important statues in the world. Let's look at the maiden with her empty net.
Oh, and she's got a snake around her.
You can do it here, so I can have this in the backdrop.
I'll give you an example. Yeah. All right.
Oh, and then these guys are all soldiers. And they're all like pushing forward this direction too.
Yes.
Okay.
So we saw when we looked behind Tamanend,
there the
he had
fish.
a dead eagle.
Here are the dead
When we
fish.
look behind the indigenous maiden,
Yeah.
she has dead fish. And if we look, her nets are empty. So again, this is tied into destroying that estuary, that farming, fishing place of abundance in East Falls, you know?
Wow. And who sits above it all?
That's George Washington.
George Washington.
George Washington Equestrian Statue. That's the name of this statue.
Oh my gosh. All right.
All right, so yeah, from Eakins Oval, we went to the Rodin Museum. Regrettably, the gates of hell was closed to the public when we went there, but we did get to see the thinker. What was your thoughts on the gates? Well, the Rodin just being there, even
So
if you couldn't
it's
get in.
like prior to your work, like I was aware as like a person who was like born in this culture that there was such a thing as a sculpture called the Thinker. And when I found out it was in Philadelphia, like that blew my mind. I'm like, what? That's in Philadelphia. And then to go, and as I've become more and more aware of what Philadelphia is, the mystery Philadelphia, it gave me the context to appreciate what that museum is, like by name, like the and like by presentation. Like it looks like a mausoleum, it looks like a crypt, it looks like, you know, it is, regardless of like getting even into the details of what it is, the outer symbology of it being the conclusion of the 9-mile road, the 9-mile road to hell. This is why it makes so, like, I'm like, who's writing this? How, like, you know, like it is so perfect, these endpoints and how they came about. And so seeing that, like, it felt appropriate to me not being able to get into it, because had we gone in there, I think that just having seen so much, like it would have been diluted. But the next time we meet up in Philly and we go to that, well, then like it'll be with fresh eyes. So I haven't been diluted throughout the day. I'm looking forward to it, and it's unbelievably appropriate.
Now, just to clarify a little bit,
All
I
right.
would say the Rodin is on the road to hell, but it's not the ultimate destination. That would be
Okay.
Philadelphia City Hall.
All right.
And there are a couple of other destinations on that road, Logan Circle being another one, because it was Logan who, as a Pennsylvania, he wasn't governor, but he was maybe lieutenant governor or some official. He orchestrated, along with Anthony Wayne, the archetype John Wayne, historical archetype. They orchestrated the Lenape Road to Hell. Walk of Trail of Tears. Their walk west of the Allegheny. Their Logan Circle was where public executions of the early colony would occur. And you can't help but deduce that probably resistant sachems and resistant Lenape met their fate at Logan Circle. But what we got to do, we got to bring you forward. We got to start in Center City because our time prohibited us from seeing those other destinations.
Right.
So we just stopped at the Rodin. We're gonna bring you forward, and because City Hall we have to see, as well as some other destinations downtown, you know. But I thank you for coming.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah, and I thank you for coming, man. It, like I say, I learn every trip, every tour I go on with different enlightened ones. I get to see another angle and learn more. And you definitely expanded my awareness when we did that trip together, and I really appreciated. Yeah, I appreciated that angle. I've reflected on the trip a lot, and I'm thankful we finally got to have this day where we could kind of, you know, reflect on it, pull things together, mention points that, like, oh, you know, you sparked this in me, and you know, we could bring it all together.
Yes, that was a good day. It was a
Yeah.
good day. I'm
So,
grateful.
yo,
it's done.
man, I see you ready to put some nutrition in your belly, and I'm sure you're ready to go get in that Florida sun. I'm not going to take no more of your time, and I'm gonna play with this, drop some footage, you know, uh, additional footage in, make it a complete package, and hopefully it'll be up this strong. What's today's date?
29th.
29th. All right. Maybe we'll put it up April. It'll be up by April Fools, you know?
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, Mystic
Jokes on
Mike.
them.
From
All
one
right.
mystic to another, man, I give you a mighty salute. Hail up your family for me. I know they don't know me, but big them up. Big up Chrissy. Y'all be safe on your journey up
Thank you.
north,
Thank you.
you know?
Thank you. The
Yeah,
feelings are
man.
mutual.
Had that travel mercy.
Thank
And
you.
keep doing your thing, brethren. Yo, I know you've uncovered some deep mysteries in Florida. So that we got to put that plan for, you know, that to be what we're looking at the next episode.
All right. All
And
right.
I got a whole crew of geomancers in South
I
Florida.
need to meet up with them. I need
Yeah.
to meet up with them.
So I might even have them, I might holler at them, see if they'll jump on with us. And they've recently connected with Dr. Narco Longo. Are you familiar with him?
Only by name and reputation.
Oh man, this dude is flames and fire. He's
right.
doing what we're doing down in Florida. I think his channel's called Old World Florida.
All right. So
And I'm
Florida's
well impressed.
Florida's been calling me pretty hard. So maybe that's the next step. I'll be down here again. I'll be down here actually for 6 weeks in the autumn. I'm going to be house sitting for my sister who lives in Florida.
Okay. All right. Hey, don't tell me that, bro. You gonna open up your suitcase and be like, Ross Ben, how the hell? What's going on? I'm like, yo, I'm ready
We
to
got the
house sit for
space.
6 weeks in Florida, bro.
We got
Yeah,
the space.
yeah. Well, hey, until such time, yeah, man. Much love
All
and
right.
respect.
Yes.
All right.
Peace.